Hey bookworms! Today I'm here with my Gothtober Wrapup. We're going to talk more about that in a second. In case you're new here, my name is Kat. This is Katie Reads Books. I post bookish content once or twice a week and host live read-ins and write-ins on alternating Saturdays. To start off this video, two things. One, yes, I'm going to be one of those people who uses my platform for politics. Politics are important, and I don't like fighting with people about politics, but I do think it's important that we use our platforms to have discussions, even if they are difficult discussions to have. So, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, here in the US, we just had a huge election and super awesome voter turnout for a result that I personally feel is going to start taking the country in a direction of healing. I think that the polarity that we saw with the election in the US is a very clear indicator that we have to continue having these discussions if we want to move forward as a country. That being said, I just wanted to say that politics are happening even when it's not an election year, and especially when it's not a presidential election year. Please make sure that you are still paying attention. This election result does not mean that we have a winner. It means that we still have work to do. One election is not going to fix the problems that we have as a nation. It's not going to fix police violence on the Black community. It is not going to fix the coronavirus pandemic. It is not going to fix the fact that we are such a polarized country. We have to do the work if we want to see the country take steps that are beneficial for everyone. We have to keep paying attention, and we have to keep pushing back on the injustices that we see, and politics will continue to have an influence on everyone's life between now and 2024. We have to make sure that we are still willing to educate ourselves and to be proactive in the changes that we want to see in the country, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to see meaningful change, in particular for the demographics who are more likely to suffer from things like the pandemic and police violence and poverty and unemployment. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't celebrate and be happy for a gain. I'm just saying that we have to keep staying engaged if we want real change to happen. So that was thing one. Thing two is this Gothtober wrap up and the fact that I failed pretty hard at Gothtober. October is an insanely busy month for us. It is the month of mine and my husband's anniversary, and this year in particular required some real creative thinking on how we were going to still let Halloween be a positive experience. So we got it figured out, and we had a really good time, but it took a lot of energy, and I didn't account for that, which is typical me. I still managed to technically pull off the 7 prompts out of the 13, but I was only able to read 1, 2, 3, 4 of the books. I feel like I read more than that last month, but it probably was just other things. I don't know that. I know I didn't read everything that I put on my TBR for the month of October. I may have done like some other random reading that I don't remember, but I feel like I spent most of my time just trying to keep up with all the things. So, man, editing this is going to be a real pain in the ass. So I had 6 books on my TBR that I have written down in my like little brain dump notebook. And I managed to read all but 2 of them. One of the first books that I got through for this month was Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is based in the realm of the Elderling, and we follow Althea Vestrit and Wintro Vestrit and the Vivacia and the Paragon and Kennett. Althea is a very headstrong woman who is having trouble finding a way to prove herself as a sailor so that she can get back her family ship of Vivacia from Kyle, who is like one of the most horrible characters. Like, he's just so awful. He is like things that, so like in Assassin's Apprentice, you really hate Regal. Robin Hobb is really good at writing a character that you can hate with everything in your body. And I thought that I hated Regal, and he was really awful and conniving and bratty. But he, you know, it was comfortably in a fantasy world, whereas Kyle Haven is not comfortably in a fantasy world. He, like, we all know a Kyle Haven. We've all met that guy, and he's just such an asshole. Anyway, so Althea is trying to get the Vivacia back from Kyle Haven, and there's a lot of inner politics that's going on in the Vestrit family with a family from the Rainwilds, and we didn't get a lot on that this book. From what I understand, we're going to get into that a lot more in the Mad Ship, which I am reading in the month of November. I will put at the end of the video my November TBR in case you want to watch that. The Ship of Magic, we also follow Wintro, and he is actually on the Vivacia, and he is such a little, like, you just want to protect him, and bad things keep happening to him, because Kyle Haven, the biggest asshole on the planet, is his dad. And then with Kennett, by the end of the book, he was a very different, they all changed over time, but I feel like Kennett was like a drastic change of person. Like, he didn't do a lot of growing, he just changed. And whereas like Althea grew and Wintro grew, Kyle didn't grow, of course, but like I feel like even Kenneth was just, he changed drastically from, I feel, the person that he was at the beginning of the book, I felt like. So he just ends up being a little more crazy by the end of the book. And then I'm interested to see where he goes. I'm not going to say much more because it would be spoilery. If you guys want a spoilery review of Ship of Magic, tell me in the comments and I will record one for you. But for now, I'm just going to keep it to like wrap up length. So we see Kenneth become a little more messy of a person. We meet another live ship named Ophelia. Oh, and Brashen. Yeah, so we meet another live ship named Ophelia through Althea. But then Brashen, oh, poor Brashen. You get a few things from his perspective as well. He and Althea are sort of in this, like, they have a lot of sexual tension, but Althea's, not interested, or says she's not interested in a romantic relationship with Brashen, and Brashen doesn't take that well. I'm curious to see how the Trell family, Brashen is Brashen Trell, and I'm curious to see how the Trell family comes into play more in the Mad Ship, because there's a lot in this that indicated that we're going to start to see a lot of interplay between other trader families with the Vestrits as well. Anyway, I'm excited to move on to the match ship. I want the world for Paragon and Amber, and I don't know how that's going to play out, and we don't know who the match ship is necessarily, although I suspect very strongly that the match ship is still Paragon, and that we're going to see the match ship be Paragon's book. I could be completely wrong about that. But yes, Mad Ship. I really want to read it. I can't wait to get to it. Robin Hobb is really good at tearing your heart out. If you can put up with that kind of fantasy, at least she does it with, like, no graphic rape, you know, because other fantasy writers aren't capable of doing that for some reason. Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert was another book that I got through really fast in the month of October. And, oh, did I say what prompt Ship of Magic was? I don't think I did. Ship of Magic was for the Gothtober prompt of female protagonist. I wonder how I'm going to be able to keep I wonder if I can keep a bingo card or something up so that you guys can, like, see. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so Ship of Magic was for the prompt of female protagonist. For the prompt of LGBT and a book set in a foreign country, I read Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. Of course, I completely flew through this book and then was devastated when I got to the end because I had fallen in love with these characters and now their story was over. And I've gotten these both from the library instead of buying them, but I'm going to end up buying them because I just want to read them again. And I've also, like, I ended up signing up for Talia Hibbert's newsletter because I just wanted more from her. And if you haven't done that and you also have read these books by her and you want more from Talia Hibbert, like, get on her email newsletter because she's going to send you some really awesome, like, freebies for signing up. And so I'm going to start reading through those, and I've already pre-ordered her Christmas novella, which I will put here. I want to say it's called Completely Wrapped Up in You. It's going to be available on Kobo, and it's like $2.99. So I've become a Talia Hibbert fangirl. She's just so good at writing characters. Like, so in Danny Brown, and Take a Hint, Danny Brown, you follow Danica Brown, who I said in one of my other videos that I thought she was the oldest sister. I was incorrect. Chloe is the oldest sister and Danica is the middle sister. She is pursuing a PhD in female literary they say the name. I can't ever remember the name of, like, people's PhDs because I'm terrible like that, but she's pursuing a PhD in, like, literary fiction as it applies to Black women and how it's, like, developed over time, and women of color, Black women and women of color. So anyway, we follow her and a previous professional rugby player named Zafir, and they are just such a sweet couple. They're both kind of, like, grumpy and sarcastic, and there's just some really fun banter, but then the whole thing is the way that they come to be together is so warm-hearted and tender, and it's just beautiful. I mean, like, it is the best romance that I have ever read. Hands down. Hands down. I would challenge you to tell me a romance book that I would love more than Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and Get a Life, Chloe Brown, because, like, I just don't think that it can be topped. I've been recording this whole thing on my selfie cam, and I'm not even going to bother to fix it because I don't want to record it again. I've already been doing this for half an hour. Anyway, so for the prompt of... Actually, it wasn't for a prompt. So, Words of Radiance, which it's in the other room, and I'm too lazy to get up and go get it, so I'm just going to, like, put a picture of it for you here. I was reading it for the Sanderfan read-along. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, except that I am still very invested, and that I caught up to where I was supposed to be last month. I had no problem keeping up with everyone, and I'm going to be reading the second half of it in the month of November. Again, I talk about that in my November TBR. So, the last book that I managed to read for Gothtober prompts were for the lie prompt, where you had to have lie, liar, or lying on the cover, or a liar in the book. And then it was also for the prompt of a red cover. And that was Magic is for Liars by Sarah Gailey. I have to say that I loved this book, but there was something about the end that didn't quite land for me. I felt like it was partially a cliffhanger, and like, if you know me and my reading taste, you know that I don't like cliffhangers. I just don't like them. They can be done well, but they're not my favorite. I like to feel satisfied at the end of a book, and for some reason, I didn't feel satisfied at the end of this one. If it turns out to be a series, I might be more satisfied with it. I could totally get behind, like, following the same private investigator. What was her name again? Ivy Gamble. I could totally get behind following her for another few books. The fact that I got to follow her in a place where there was magic, but she wasn't someone who had that magic, was also really awesome. And I enjoyed being able to get that mystery genre without having to sacrifice the fantastical parts, the fantastical things that I love about reading. But like I said, the end, it wasn't quite, like, I loved it up until the end. And then the end of the book, I was kind of like, man. And I don't even necessarily think that there was a better way that she could have ended the book. I think it was appropriate. I just wasn't satisfied with it. So anyway, this got 4 stars, and you know, it's a great rating. It's a great book. I would totally recommend it. I already have a couple of people in mind that I'm going to send this to for Christmas, because I did enjoy the book. Just like I said, that ending wasn't quite for me. I want to read more by Sarah Gailey as well. I think that she's an author who I can really enjoy. Okay, so if you watched my Gothtober TBR and you know that which prompts I was gonna hit, then you will know that I missed 2 pretty important prompts for this readathon. So I did this to myself. I told you guys in the Gothtober TBR that I might just jump ahead to Ship of Magic and then circle back and finish Assassin's Quest so that I could actually catch up with the Elderling along. And while it felt really liberating to challenge myself to jump to a different trilogy before I had finished the one before it, I did not end up finishing Assassin's Quest. After I got into the Live Ship Trader trilogy, I was so happy to be there that I didn't want to go back to the Farseer trilogy. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm just expecting so much tragedy for Fitz in Assassin's Quest, and I kind of just, I'm afraid of what's going to happen to him. So I have decided to go and worry about the characters in Live Ship Traders. I don't know when I'm going to finish this. I am 352 pages in, and I just don't know when I'm going to circle back to it. I think I might try to finish it before the Realm of the Elderlings moves on to the next couple of books where Fitz is a character. Like, he shows up again in, I think it's like The Fool's Quest or something like that. And I might finish this before we jump into that, but for now, I'm DNF'ing it. It feels so bad to be doing that. But yeah, I'm just gonna put it back on my shelf. I'm gonna take like a tab, and actually I'll just do this right now if I have tabs in here, which of course I don't. That would be too sensible. Excuse me. Because I need to do the same thing for that. Oh crap, I have to pee. Okay, hold on. So, I went ahead and grabbed myself a drink while I was up. I got my tabs. I really need to reclaim this bookmark. So, take out the bookmark. Pop in an orange tab. And I feel dirty. I feel really crappy about it. I don't know why. There's plenty of series that I've never finished. I don't know why it feels so... I guess it's because there's a certain amount of, like, accountability with Booktube, right? Like, there's going to be people who know that I didn't finish it. I don't know why it makes me feel so bad. Okay, anyway. So, by not finishing Assassin's Quest, I missed the one that I was gonna use for the prompt for Grey Morality. I do feel like it could be fairly said that I could pick that up with Words of Radiance. There are plenty of morally gray characters in Words of Radiance. So I didn't miss the prompt entirely. I just DNF'd one of the books because I'm ridiculous. So another book that I didn't end up finishing this month, and I'm not going to call it a DNF. Well, I guess I am. I'm going to call it a DNF. I feel really bad about it because it's a book about race, and race is such a big issue right now that we need to be taking this closer look at. It makes me feel really bad that How to Be an Anti-Racist is one of the books that I didn't finish this month. However, the reason that I didn't finish it is because I was sort of like, I was pushing through because, like, nonfiction's not really my thing, but I was pushing through it because I knew that it was important, right? And then on page 143, that's where I stopped, I started to kind of realize, like, what the format of the book was. He goes between, like, personal life experiences and then how that relates back to, like, how it relates back to certain issues and certain points in time where those issues came up. And because it was so, like, back and forth between those two different, like, those two parallel lines of thinking, because it kind of jumped the rails so much, I feel like I need to go back to the beginning and read this again. I feel like I need to start over. So, yeah. I don't know when I'm going to get back around to it, but I am going to get back around to it. It's just a matter of, like, you know, maybe I'll try it for December. Maybe we'll see how it goes for maybe December or something. But in order to actually gain anything from this book, I feel like I need to go back and start it from the beginning. Otherwise, I'm just going to be, like, pushing through it for the numbers or for the number of pages or whatever. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to take something away from it. So I'm going to start this one over. I'm not sure when, but you'll be seeing this book again on my channel for sure. In the meantime, I'm going to reclaim my bookmark. And I'm going to go ahead. See, like, this is another thing that kind of sucks about it, because I had 2 more days of reading left on this one. And I just, like, once I got to that page, I was like, oh no, I've completely missed, like, I don't feel like I've picked up what this book was trying to tell me. I mean, it, like, despite the fact that it was only 2 pages from being done, I felt like in order to really do the book any justice, I needed to go back. So, this one goes back on the shelf. Where? G, H, J, this K is back here. Wait, what? No. J, K, so then Q, yeah. Placed right beside R.F. Kwong, my friend. Oh, okay. Oops. fucking chords. Okay, so, How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ivermex Kitty was going to be for the prompt of a Black author. Again, I feel like I could technically say that I got that with Talia Hibbert, because she writes such good, diverse fantasy. Oh god, that woman. I love her writing. Okay, anyway, so I feel like I still got that one. I just didn't get it in the nonfiction context that I was looking for. So, I mean, I feel pretty good about how I did for the month of October, but I don't feel good about my participation in Gothtober. I don't feel like I was able to do it, like, as well as I wanted to. But that's okay. Hannah has already said that she's doing it again next year, and next year I'm going to be ready for it because I want to go, like, all out with spooky books, or at least, like, paranormal books, or, you know, like, really good seasonally appropriate reads. So I'm going to plan to be really invested, really, like, full on into Gothtober next year. Whew, if you have gotten to this point in the video, thank you so much for sticking with me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed already and you would like to hear more from me, please click the subscribe button and don't forget to ring the bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video and when I go live on Saturdays. All of my social media and my other shenanigans are in the description box below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.